How do you support the settling in of children who will have come from different types of preschool settings?
The first thing we do is actually in the summer term, and it's before the children they might have visited the school, but it's before they sort of start. And we have a few meet-up days on the common, and we also meet at a local park. And that's a really nice informal way for the children to sort of get to know the teachers and the teaching staff, but also the other children that are going to be in the class. We then meet with parents one-to-one, where the child then comes in for that appointment, and they can explore the classroom. There's nobody else here, so it's a really nice way for them just to check everything out. And it gives us time to have a really good discussion with parents, and we ask lots of questions, we find out lots of information, and that really helps us to know the sort of children that are coming in and to know things that they like, things that they don't like, so we can really be aware of that. So that's a really good sort of in-depth discussion we have, and it also gives parents a chance to share any information that they want to about their child that they think is important. And then the children start and have 2 half days with us. And again, it's really nice because there's a smaller group of children, so it's a bit quieter, it's not so intense, and we really just spend lots of time getting to know them, playing with them, finding out what makes them tick and what they enjoy. And I think when they come into a space where there's things that grab their interest and that they enjoy doing, immediately that sort of settles any kind of worries that they might have. We do have a sort of open door policy with parents, so in the morning or at pick-up times, we really encourage parents to, tell us information, anything that's going on with their child that they think is important. And I think that really helps, because things that happen at home or even on the way to school can really impact how a child feels during the day at school. So we really encourage parents to share that sort of information with us.
Can you take us through a day in reception?
Yes, so it changes through the year. At the beginning, we very much follow a sort of nursery setup. So the children come in and they go straight to free flow, which is where they can choose anywhere in the classroom or outside to play. So it is very informal in that sense, and the adults just take time to engage in what the child's doing and get to know them. As the year progresses, it becomes a bit more formal. So at this point in the year, the children have now started phonics, and that's a really important part of our teaching, because that teaches them the skills for reading and writing. So they come in, they have a good sort of 20 minutes phonics session where we're all on the carpet together, and the children have whiteboards and pens, so they're practicing their name writing, they're practicing writing sounds that we're learning, and we build up to writing words and eventually sentences. And we're also doing reading in that time as well. And then after our phonics session, we call it free flow, but that's basically where the children initiate their own learning. So we have lots of areas set up in the classroom and indeed outside, and they make the choice of where they want to play and where they want to learn. And the adults will then meet them in those areas, and we'll do some sort of targeted teaching work with them, either one-to-one or it might be within the group that they're playing in. And after that free flow time, we then all tidy up. And those times of days are really important for us, because it's that sense of being, working together, working as a team, taking responsibility for our environment. So that's almost teaching time for us in terms of tidying up, sorting and organising where things go. And then after our tidy up time, we sit on the carpet again and we have a maths lesson. And that's really where we're introducing children to counting, using one-to-one correspondence, recognising numbers. We learn about shape and measure. And that again is about a 20-minute session. And a lot of our maths teaching is done through songs and rhymes, because that really helps the children to learn. And it's a really enjoyable time and a really fun time. And we get ready for lunch after that, and they have an hour lunch time. And we all go to the hall together, and the children can see what's available to choose for lunch, and we support them in that. And we sit them down and we're with them for about 15 minutes. And then they have sort of lunchtime supervisors that then help them. And they get a nice hour lunch. They go out to the big playground and have a play. And then after lunch, we come back into the classroom and we do another carpet session. And that's always based around our topic that we're learning about. So at the moment, we're learning about autumn. We've been reading the story of Leaf Man. So our sessions are around retelling the story, acting it out. They're writing their own storybooks at the moment, so a lot of our teaching on the carpet is about that. And then they go to and have an afternoon of free flow, and again that's where they're choosing their own learning. And during those times of free flow, the teachers and the TAs, the teaching assistants, they're pulling children, and we're doing sort of group work or one-to-one work, which is helping them in their numeracy skills and their literacy skills. So it's a real mix of sort of informal play and group work and one-to-one work.
And does the learning take place in any other parts of the school at any point?
The children go to Forest School. And they really enjoy that time. It means they do always have access to the outdoor area, but what's lovely about Forest School is it's a much more natural environment. There's mud, we've got our school chickens, which the children really get to know, and it's just a really nice time to be outdoors and experiencing all the elements. We also do PE, so once a week the children will change into their PE kit and go to the hall, and we have a PE lesson as a class.
And do you have music lessons at all?
We do have music lessons, yeah, and they'll go to a music room for that. We have Diana, who's our music teacher, and again, it's a really lovely time, lots of singing, and we often use instruments and dancing. So yeah, that's what we sort of leave the classroom to go and do in our learning.
How do you forge positive relationships between home and school?
I think really it's to us, it's really important to establish good relationships with parents. And again, it's having things like the open door policy. It's making sure that we're approachable and parents always feel welcome to come and talk to us and happy to do that. There's lots of communication that happens. Obviously, the meetings at the beginning of the year really help establish that relationship. We send out sort of termly letters so you know what we're learning about and how to support your child. We have parent meetings to sort of give you information on how your child's doing academically. And we also use Tapestry, which is a really nice tool because we share observations with you of what your child's getting up to at school, but it also enables you to share observations of what your child's doing at home. And that's a really nice sort of two-way conversation as such that can happen between school staff and parents.
How do you prepare children for moving on to Key Stage 1?
The main focus of reception is really building children's independence, and that's a real priority for us. And that happens gradually through the year, but it's about children being able to make their own choices, make their own decisions, do things for themselves, you know, even things like going to the toilet, getting dressed and undressed and zipping up their coats, all of those things, but also knowing where to find things that they need so they're not always relying on an adult. And that's really what we encourage in their free flow play, is really thinking for themselves and building sort of critical thinking and problem solving so that they're able to get on with their learning and their work as much as they can independently, ready for year 1. And also the way we sort of teach will change through the year. So like I said before, the beginning of the year is much more informal. It's sort of that transition from nursery. And then as the year goes on, our carpet sessions will get a little bit longer, again, to prepare them for year 1. The amount of times we're calling them over in the day to do activities with adults will increase. So it's all those, the children don't notice it. It's done very gently through the year, and very much when we feel the class is ready for that. So it does change year on year depending on how the children are.
How do you reward achievements and address more challenging behaviour?
We have a in-class behaviour chart, and when the children first join, they're very much a part of establishing the rules, and they're called our high 5 rules, and it's a rule for each finger. And the children, we work together and come up with the rules as a class. And if the children are doing, you know, being kind to one another and helping and sharing, and we notice those, or really sort of persevering and trying hard, their name moves up the reward chart until at the moment it's a pot of gold that they get to, and then they get a sticker, which they absolutely love and is a real incentive. So there's that sort of individual reward. But the way we're set up in reception is very much a sort of small community really, and it's that real sense that we're a team and we've got to work together, and it's just a very sort of positive environment. And we always try to come from a positive approach with behaviour management, and I think generally children want to do the right thing, and we just try and focus on that really. And obviously getting to know the children really well, so we know exactly what might set them off or might disrupt their behaviour, and we sort of try and nip it in the bud before that happens. So if things do happen, obviously with young children, we have a thinking chair, and that's consistent throughout the school. It's part of our behaviour policy. And it's just a reflection time really, where we speak to the child and they sit on the chair for 5 minutes and we talk to them about what's happened and how we can resolve it.
Why do you think parents and carers should choose St Margaret's as a primary school?
When I first came to the school, something I really liked was that feel of community, and everybody was really friendly and approachable, and I think that's a real selling point for the school, even though, you know, we have expanded and we are getting bigger since I've been here, which has been 6 years. It's very much retained that feeling of community, and with parents and staff and children, it's got that sort of small school feel, which I think is lovely. And to me, something that really stands out are our Christian values, and it's very much embedded throughout the school, you know, assembly times, conversations that happen with adults and children in the corridors. It's embedded in everything we do, and their values like forgiveness and friendship and kindness, and that's really important, and I think that really shows in how the children are in our school and how they are present themselves.
That's lovely, thank you.